Oh my gosh. I seriously want to cry, but I can't because my makeup looks so good. This is like probably one of my favorite makeup I've ever had.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I hope you enjoy today's look on our stunning model, Jaclyn. I am starting off by prepping her skin with the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Cream just to give her some nice deep hydration on her face and neck and just really massaging that in. Prepping her eyelids for eyeshadow with Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. She has fantastic brows. I believe that they may have been microbladed, I'm not sure, but either way her brows were very full and very beautiful. So I started off by prepping the eyelids and then I'm setting the concealer with RCMA No Color powder, and I'm just doing that really carefully so as not to have a lot of powder fall out on her lash extensions. The eyeshadow palette I used for this look, actually it was two palettes, and it was the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, the original one, which I'm going to say right now, if you don't have that palette, I am not recommending that you go and buy it, because I've learned recently that it has been reformulated and that it's not as high quality as it was when it was first released, which I think is really sad, really unfortunate, and honestly quite shady on Morphe's part. So yeah, I'm not recommending, but I know that a lot of you probably already own the original palette, so if you do, then you know that palette is great to use, of course. I also used the Morphe 3502 palette, and what I did is I just laid out both palettes and I just kind of let the creative juices flow and just dipped into whichever colors were calling my name. That's something that I usually do when I do makeup, is I set out 2 or 3 eyeshadow palettes and then I just kind of do my thing. I think that moving forward I'll try to limit my looks to one palette just so it'll be easier for you guys to follow along and kind of know the steps that I'm doing. But that's what I did for this look. So as you can see, I'm keeping the shadows on the outer corner, smoking them out down low and then up into the crease, and I'm just kind of building. I started with more of like a peachy shade and then I'm going into a brown shade and just working that in and blending with circular motions and just taking my time to make sure it's nice and blended out. I'm going back in with that original peachy shade just to blend just a little bit on the brush to blend everything out. Again, I really think that in makeup, getting that perfect blend, whether it be with your eyeshadow or your contour, it's really about kind of going back and forth between the lighter shades and the darker shades till you get that perfect blend. At least that's what works for me. And then for the shimmer, I mixed a couple of shades from the Jaclyn Hill palette and I sprayed my brush with some Morphe setting spray to intensify those, and I'm just placing those on the lid and creating the shape I want for that brightness. Next, I'm taking my fluffy blending brush and kind of some of those mid-tone browns that we used before, just a little bit on the brush, and I'm blending out that edge where the shimmer and the matte meets. And what I recommend doing for this step is placing your brush first on the matte portion of the eyeshadow and blending in toward the shimmer. That way you avoid kind of messing with the shimmer and kind of getting it messy and like scattering it across where you want the shadows to be matte, if that makes sense. So I kind of start with the matte and blend in toward the shadow to create that blend that I want. And then I'm lining the lash line with a black eyeshadow on a flat definer brush just all along her lash line. I most of the time use black eyeshadow for eyeliner just because it gives that definition while still being soft. And then I did wing out the liner shape a bit as well. Okay, so this liner look, I wanted it to be smoky while still being winged out and still a little bit of like sharpness and definition. I honestly, and pardon my horrible pun, but I really was just winging it when it came to what I was creating with this eyeliner situation. But I took some of that black eyeshadow and a little bit of brown mixed on there so it wasn't too harsh with a little tiny blending brush, and I was just starting to like blend so that the eyeliner kind of like diffuses into the smoked out portion of the shadow. And then I went back in with an angled brush to like sharpen the tip again, because I basically wanted it to go like smoked out into a sharp tip, if that makes sense. Hopefully I'm making any sense, but obviously you can kind of see what I'm doing, and hopefully it makes sense, my explanation. But I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, I don't know if I love, like if I'm dying for what I did here with the eyeshadow. It was a new kind of technique I was trying. Right here you see me smudging out a little bit more with the Laura Mercier smudge brush, by the way. But I'm just gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna be totally honest, and I almost didn't even post this video because I was just going so back and forth on how I felt about the eye makeup. But I actually made a promise to myself at the beginning of 2021 that I was going to post every video that I filmed, and that I was going to put my heart into it and put it out there for you guys, even if there were things about it that I was questioning. Because the thing is, I'm my harshest critic, and I nitpick every look I do and every video I film, and if I allowed myself to do it, then like I wouldn't post anything, because there's just always things that I would do differently or that I want to improve on. So I'm just showing up and posting it, and it really did turn out to be a beautiful look. And Jaclyn is, I mean, you can't make her look bad. She, as you can see, she's absolutely gorgeous. So anyways, enough ranting about that. Moving on to foundation, I actually primed the skin with a new primer, the Cover FX Gripping Primer, and I did not have a good time with that primer. It almost is too grippy. I've kind of experimented with it a couple of times since. I'm struggling with that primer. I've heard it recommended by so many people, but I actually switched from applying the foundation with a brush to a beauty blender because it was just balling up so much from that primer. So it worked a lot better with a beauty blender, but even still, I just feel like it kind of like grips the foundation in a way where it almost is a little bit patchy when you look really close. So if you have used that primer and if you love it, will you please comment down below and tell me like if there's a certain way to use it where you don't have that experience that I did. So yeah, that was the situation with the primer. The foundation I used is the new Luminous Matte Faux Filter foundation from Huda. I'm loving that foundation. And then I'm concealing with Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Light Medium. And the shades for the foundation, I mixed Shortbread and Macchiato. By the way, I feel like I'm talking a million miles a minute this voiceover. Hopefully it's not driving you crazy. Now I am cream contouring with the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Beautiful Bronze. That is the shade that I've honestly been using the most. So if you are wanting to add that product, that LA Girl Pro Concealer, to your collection for cream contour, which I do really recommend this product. I love it and I use it all the time. The shade Beautiful Bronze works on a wide variety of skin tones, especially because like I am right here, I'm using just such a tiny amount and really blending it really well, so it works on her somewhat fair complexion, but it also works on people with like pretty medium deep skin tones as well, just kind of depending on how you use it. The brush I'm using to apply this cream contour is from the BH Cosmetics Rose Quartz brush set. I really love that brush set. I'm pretty diehard for it, and like there's several brushes in that set that I honestly can't function without. So I'll link that brush set for you below, along with all of the products I use in this tutorial. And yeah, so you see me contouring her forehead and then going in with that beauty blender that we used with the foundation, and it has like, it's the same beauty blender, so it's got some foundation on the sponge, and I'm using that to really blend out everything so it just looks perfect. And then I'm using that same brush to contour the nose. I'm just kind of squishing it down with my fingers, as you can see, to go ahead and contour her nose. And then I switched to a smaller brush, also from that same BH Cosmetics Rose Quartz collection, to contour her lips. The purpose of contouring lips is to make them look fuller and plumper, and it's almost like lip liner but way more subtle, which sounds weird, but trust me, I love contouring the lips. And it also just kind of brings some definition to the lips. It's kind of like when somebody has a perfect nose, like you still put a little bit of nose contour on so that it ties in with the rest of the dimension of the face that you've created with the highlight and contour. That's also kind of what lip contouring is to me. Now I'm setting everything with the RCMA No Color powder. Oh, she's so freaking pretty, is she not? And if you can believe it, she's like every bit as kind and loving as she is beautiful. She's just a doll. Loved glamming her up. So yeah, just setting the whole face with the RCMA No Color powder, and then I'm tight lining her lower waterline with black eyeliner. It's the Essence, okay, I always butcher this name. Essence Waterproof 24, I don't know. It'll be linked below, but it's an amazing eye pencil for the waterline. I use it in black or in nude for the waterline all the time, and it's super cheap, so I'll link it below. And then I'm using a flat definer brush to go over that lower lash line, not in the waterline, but like on the lower lash line, with a dark brown, I think it was the color Central Park from the Jaclyn Hill palette, eyeshadow, and then taking the medium brown on a pencil brush to smoke it out and kind of connect it with that smoky wing thing that we have going on the upper lid as well. And then I'm just adding a little bit of definition back to her brows just because, you know, there's powder and stuff that got on the brows, so I'm just kind of bringing them back to life a little bit, and then setting them with a brow gel from ColourPop. Then I'm taking the white metallic eyeshadow from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Armed and Gorgeous palette, I believe it's called. It's just that specific shade that I wanted. I wanted a really white inner corner highlight and brow bone highlight for this look, so it's just that specific shade that I used, but you could use anything in your collection. Then I highlighted the brow bone as well, and you're gonna see me make a little mistake right here. Oh, right there. I just like brought it down a little bit too low. So what I did is took a fluffy brush with some of that brown eyeshadow and just went over it to fix that mistake, and also to just kind of make the crease pop a little bit more. Now I'm dusting away any fallout, and I'm going over where we cream contoured with a little bit of Hoola Benefit bronzer. And setting the face with the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and then highlighting the high points of her face with the Benefit Cookie highlighter, which is quickly becoming a favorite. It's a really, really beautiful highlighter. And then for blush, I'm using the Morphe Cool Tone Blush Palette, just a mixture of several of the shades. I normally, for someone with Ashlyn's coloring, her beautiful red hair, which that's her completely natural hair color, by the way, somebody with her coloring, I usually would use much more warm toned makeup, but for this particular photo shoot, which you're gonna see photos from at the end of the video, I wanted to have a little bit of like a sugar plum vibe with the makeup, a little bit of an icy sugar plum vibe, and I think that she totally rocked it. So that's why I went in with that cool tone blush. That's why the eyes are like, have a little bit of iciness to them as well. And then for lips, I'm using the Dose of Colors Truffle Velvet Mousse lipstick, and then going over that with Buxom Lip Plumping Gloss in White Champagne. And then I'm just taking the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder, not the translucent one, it's the one in the shade Silky Beige, and I'm just brightening and adding a little bit of extra blurring to certain areas of the face with that powder, and then I just brushed through her lash extensions a little bit.
Oh my gosh. I seriously want to cry, but I can't because my makeup looks so good. This is like probably one of my favorite makeup I've ever had.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to my channel for more tutorials like this one. And have an amazing day. Love you so much.